Om Namo Narayana, welcome back. We're working our way through the Ramayana, the complete version, and after our post-reading rant in the first two videos, now I see why people don't read the complete version, they go for the abridged one, because there's just so much repetition that so far occurred in what is really the introduction to the story. So I'm hoping we start digging into the story. We'll find out. Today we're reading chapters 4 and 5. Chapter 4 is entitled Entrusts Singing of Epic to Lava and Kusha. The great sage Valmiki, possessing knowledge of the soul, composed the story of Rama, who gained his kingdom using varied and appropriate words. That sage recited this in 500 cantos using 24,000 verses in 6 sections, and also composed the Uttara Kanda. The greatly intellectual and able Valmiki, after composing the Uttara Kanda, and also after indicating the future event, thought of as to who should be employed to sing and propagate it. Thereafter Kusha and Lava, clad in ascetic robes, appeared before the honorable sage Valmiki and touched his feet. They were famous princes and were followers of Dharma, and they were brothers blessed with sweet voices and were living in the hermitage. Seeing their intelligence, blessed with the Vedas, both of them were initiated into the Vedas. That genius of history has composed the entire Ramayana, which details the great story of Sita, as well as the slaying of the grandson of Pulasthya Rishi. The twins, who were aces in singing, were learned in melody and pitch. The two brothers, who had a sweet voice together and alone, appeared to be Gandharvas in human form. Being very handsome, sweet-toned, and regular speech, they appeared to be exact, purely extracted images of Lord Rama. They resembled each other completely in the pretty form, recitation, and in singing, as well as the 3 measures of time, and possessed complete mastery of the 7 notes, formed and adopted from the musical instruments. They chanted the epic, which had amorous, compassionate, fearful, as well as fearless, violent, and sad moods. Those 2 princes, who were disciplined and well-versed disciples, who were solidly based on Dharma, learned by note that epic completely and chanted it as per the instruction of sage Valmiki before the assembly of sages, Brahmins, and saints. Both of them, who were great, dignified, and endowed with great features, chanted this great epic standing at a particular place in front of honored ascetics who were seated. Hearing that, all the sages, having experienced great wonder, were overcome with tears of joy in their eyes, and said, "Great, great," to Lava and Kusha. All those sages who loved Dharma were pleased and praised those praiseworthy singers. How surprising! The recital consisted of sweet verses and described what happened long ago, and described it as if they were present at that moment of happening. And also, both of them chanted the theme in perfect unison, having entered the sadhya and other notes in a perfect manner. Praised in this way by great people, they stood further with sweetness and in great style. One sage presented a fully sanctified water pot. Another one, who was pleased, gave them, who were very famous, cloth made of bark. The work composed by the great sage caused great wonderment, and came to an end, and became a foundation stone for future poets. They, who were expert in all sorts of song styles, were greatly admired, and sang it well in streets as well as avenues and almost everywhere, and were once seen by Lord Sri Rama himself. After that, Rama, the destroyer of enemies, invited those 2 well-deserving brothers, Lava and Kusha, to his palace, and extended deserving hospitality to them. The Lord, who was the tormentor of his enemies, occupied the golden throne, and was surrounded by his brothers and his ministers. That one, who was greatly disciplined, saw both of them, who were handsome, addressed Bharatha, Lakshmana, and Satrughna, and said, "Listen completely to this song from these singers who shine like devas, the epic which is composed by using appropriate and great words." And then he urged those 2 singers to commence the story. Both of them melodiously sang in melodious and ample voice, after tuning their musical instruments in a greatly distinct and musical way. Those poems were greatly comfortable for hearing to the assembly of men, all in their sense organs and their mind. King Rama further said, "These 2 sages who have all the attributes of royal persons are Kusha and Lava. They have done great penance. Even for me, it appears to be beneficial to listen to the history as told by these great ones. So please, all of you, remember their names and listen to it carefully." Thereafter, encouraged by the words of Lord Rama himself, they chanted according to rules, so that Rama, as well as those assembled who were desirous of a peaceful mind, could hear it and fix their mind on it. Chapter 5. Ayodhya and its description. In the olden times, this earth, which was completely bounded, belonged to the victorious Prajapati and his descendants. Among them, one king called Sagara got the ocean dug while he was marching to the battle, surrounded by his 60,000 sons. In that clan of kings, it was from Ikshuvaka, who was a great king, that this great epic called Ramayana originated. And so I will propagate to this world the entire Ramayana, which incorporates the Dharma, Artha, and Moksha, which are the main goals of human life, in a very complete manner. On the banks of Sarayu was situated the kingdom of Kosala, which was wealthy and blessed with abundant food grains, and was inhabited by contented citizens. Manu, the king of men, himself built there a town called Ayodhya, which became world famous. Beautiful and pleasing, with well laid out avenues, the great city extended to 96 miles in length and 24 miles abroad. The principal roads were well laid out, shining, sprinkled with water, and strewn with flowers. King Dasartha extended the prosperity of this kingdom and lived in that country like King Indra. The city had arched entrances, ornamental paneled doors, numerous well-laid markets, all kinds of weapons, and all kinds of artisans lived in that city. The city had many journalists and geologists, and it was prosperous in its matchless splendor, and also had stately edifices with flags, and was protected by many Sathagnis. It had several female dancers and actors, and furnished on all sides with gardens, mango groves, and extensive forest of sow trees, which were looking like a golden belt. The city was enclosed in several fortifications and deep moats, and well protected against enemies, and also abounded with elephants, horses, camels, and mules. The city was visited by hosts of small kings to pay tributes to the king, and also by several merchants. The city was completed and resembled Indra's own Amaravati, and was adorned by palaces and mansions which were decorated by gems. The city was wonderful to see and resembled a board where Ashtapada, a game similar to chess, is played, crowded with men and women, endowed with 7-story palaces rich in gems. The city was dense with houses on leveled land, with no more place for further construction, fully stocked with grains like rice, and its water was as sweet as sugar-cane juice. The city echoed with sounds of trumpets, drums, venas, and panavas. It surpassed all cities on earth. Like the great spires constructed by siddhas through great penances, it had perfectly constructed palaces, and was inhabited by noble persons. The city of Ayodhya, inhabited by King Dasharatha, had thousands of great warriors, termed as Maharadahis, or great charioteers, who were skilled archers with a quick hand. They would never shoot at solitary persons, persons without any defense, and those who are fleeing from battle. They were sufficiently skilled so that they could shoot at a foe or an animal based on sound, and had great strength in arms. They hunted wild animals like lions, tigers, and boars with sharp armaments. The city had a large number of Brahmins who worshipped sacrificial fires, were experts in the 4 Vedas and 6 Vedangas, the branches of the Vedas. They offered charity in thousands, were devoted to the truth, exceedingly wise, and were similar to great sages. Thus ends chapter 5. What is most interesting to me about this story is that it is being told to King Rama himself. So it's a little confusing to me whether or not this has already happened, because there is one line, I believe, in the previous video I read it, in chapter 3, where it talks about future events. So maybe King Rama is hearing about something he's going to do. I'm not really too sure. And I just believed, and I may have said this, that, actually I did say it because I mentioned time travel, that King Rama existed before this story was told. And now I'm finding out, no, he's a contemporary of the story. I feel like that's kind of a literary device, because it gives validation to the story that the person it's about is enjoying it and likes it, and obviously is not criticizing it. But I feel like I'm losing something because is this a story of King Rama's future? In which case, how would you respond if someone showed up at your doorstep telling you a story of your future and how your wife is going to be taken away? And that's a horrible story to be told, actually. I wouldn't want to hear it. Until next time, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.